Welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Lake Mills Town Board meeting, May 8th at 8 p.m. here at the Town Hall. Item number 1 on the agenda is calling the meeting to order. A notice was posted at the Town Hall, the North End Boat Launch, and the cul-de-sac on Finch Brothers Road, and also on the town's website. Item 2 is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as printed.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as published, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. Item 3, approval of the
There's
minutes.
the hard copies of the,
Oh, annual meeting minutes. Thank you, Sarah. And would we be doing this tonight?
well, you got it in your email. Did you look at it, or did you have a chance to? For some reason it says page 1 of 3, but there's only 2 pages.
I didn't have
You guys had a chance?
it. Yeah, I read it.
Well, let's do this first. Let's approve the minutes from the monthly board meeting, and then
That's all you do. You don't do
Yeah,
the
we can't-
annual.
we don't do the
Right.
annual until next month,
Right.
right?
Not until
No,
next year.
until November.
Next meeting, yeah.
Yeah, November.
April.
April?
Okay, so we're looking at the minutes from the April 17th, 2018 monthly board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as published?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any questions? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes as published, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. Minutes are approved. Thank you, Sarah. That was, well done. Item 4, approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve May's treasurer's report.
And I will second that. Are there any questions on the treasurer's report?
No questions, just one little comment. I see we must have got a little bit of a raise from the state, the DOT. It's 22,000, isn't it? Usually it's like 19,000, something like that.
Yeah, there was a percentage.
No, that's kind of, I mean,
Every little bit counts, right? He's talking about our transportation aids. All right, all in favor of approving the treasurer's report as published, please say aye.
alright.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Treasurer's report is approved. Approval of the general funding vouching.
Do you want a new one there, Hope? I'll give you a new one. because we had-
Stapled?
Yeah. Should
Yeah.
360,000.
Okay, wait a second here. Okay,
Yep, that's the one.
We just added the check for Wolf Salmon and Gravel. So 2450.
okay. I don't wanna-
I'll make a motion to approve May's disbursements of $160,011.07.
And I'll second that. Is there any discussion on the vouching?
I wanted to ask, Matt, do you know the vendor name for those firearms? I don't remember if you told me what the name of it
I
was.
thought I sent them to you, but I'll send them to you again.
All right.
I noticed, Sarah Mushka, is she getting any
Yeah,
payment? She did. She's on here. I must have missed it.
she should be. Well, I know I clicked that button. Did they miss her? I don't get the reports anymore. Well, I guess I do, but I send them straight to you.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
seeing.
don't see her on there though. Is that for
Check
planning
on that, thank
commission?
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did she get plan committee too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see the?
Because I know she just asked me at the last meeting. And
And she didn't get it then either, right?
no,
Oh, okay.
I can get it added on.
All right, that's good. All right, then I'll approve, all, will be it.
Okay,
It'll be, she will be on June's disbursement.
It's a disbursement. All right.
Unless you want to authorize $600 to her now, but,
No, let's wait and do that, okay?
okay.
Make sense. Hey, Lee, nice job. Want to make sure your team gets paid.
That's right.
All right. Item 6, reports. Police report.
I just want to.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
There's only one outstanding personal property bill, and that's Finish Line Custom Construction. Sent them another notice. I went on White Pages trying to get his phone number, but the one on there is no longer in working order.
Right. No, I had trouble getting that zoning notice delivered to, you know,
You did.
they have a zoning violation.
Oh, okay.
So I sent him a certified letter and it did get delivered. So maybe that's the route you should go.
Okay, I think I saw someplace where he moved to Sun Prairie. Does that sound right?
Don't know. I did send the certified letter about the zoning violation in April.
So Highway 134.
Or me, yeah, 134 address with both those guys' names on it.
Okay.
Why don't you send it certified? It costs like 20 some bucks, but
Okay.
at least the notice goes out and you know it's delivered or not.
All right. Do that.
Make sense? Yeah.
I just found Sarah, she was issued a paper check, that's why she's not on the list, so I'll have to go down to Stamped and get it.
Okay.
Oh, that'll mess you up.
That'll mess you both up.
Somebody's gotta let me know the amount, so I had to make sure.
That's right, yeah, I got it right here,
Take a minute, pull it together.
right there. Folding, so here's the net, right here.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have to transfer that additional, okay?
$554.10.
Or we could add it to disbursements tonight and then
Amend it,
and then it'd be easier.
Well, let's do that.
How much was it?
$554.10.
You're totaling.
I'll make a motion to add another $554.10 to the May disbursements to cover the check that has already been written to Sarah, without an H, Mushka, for the Plan Commission.
And was there election wage also?
No,
Just-
she did not do that, no.
Okay, just plan.
Okay.
We need a second and,
All right.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Good. Sharp eye. That'll be easier. Oh, do you wanna? Now I'm gonna give you the chance,
Oh.
Sharon. Do you wanna say something about dogs?
Only 2 or 3 extra came in. There's still a whole bunch of them out there that
Okay.
aren't doing it.
We have a lack of payees on our dog licenses. Let the public stand alerted about that. Letters are going out, citations will be written, correct?
Correct.
I'm yielding the floor to you, Matt Miller, our police chief.
Let me see, we had 52 hours of patrol for the month of April. Of course, my computer just dies. 52 hours of patrol for the road. We handled 5 complaints. 8 hours of that was involved in handling those complaints. We had 1 traffic accident. We had 37 traffic stops. We issued 17 warnings. We had a total of 33 citations issued. Total of 17 and a half hours were spent on stationary radar. We issued 3 ordinance citations. We did 11 residence and business checks. And we did 19 park checks and patrolled 3 extra patrols during that time period. We hired a new boat officer. He'll be coming in with his information for Sarah and stuff that she needs, by the name of Kyle Simonson. He's from the Lodi area. We interviewed 4 candidates. He has prior experience. He used to work, or last year he worked for Juneau County Sheriff's Department Boat Patrol. so he has a year under his belt for boat patrolling. He did attend on May 4th the DNR new boat officers training down in Elkhorn. He's completed that successfully. The boat will be on the lift as of May 16th, and we'll do some initial training with the 2 boat officers. Cody Jepson is one from last year. He'll be joining us again this year. And they'll be testing the boat in PWC to make sure everything's operational, working fine. The boat patrol will start the weekend of May 18th, and then it'll be every weekend until obviously the season ends from there. Cody will be switching off weekends with Kyle, so it's every other weekend that they're at minimum mandated to work. The old squad car, I'll be taking it home this as of tomorrow. I got it cleaned out. I just have to armor all the inside. I'm going to put a coat of wax on it, armor all the tires. We'll photograph it up, and then Lake Mills Captain Mick Suck will put it on eBay for sale. Hopefully it won't take long to sell the car. It'll be out of our hair. We're going to be borrowing the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department speed board. Hopefully I can hang on to it for an entire week, and we'll be moving it throughout the township. People in the area have been requesting a speed board if we have access to one. And I got some suggestions today from the town board as to where to put it. So it'll be out there. You'll see it out there. It's got Jefferson County Sheriff's Department written on it. So, but I think it'll be received by the public well. Other than that, that's about it.
Thanks, Matt.
Is there any idea when you'll need me to swear in the new patrol officer?
He's coming in Friday, well, he'll come in the 16th.
Okay.
He'll be run through some of his initial stuff, and then he's coming in on the 18th. So to get his, he has to go down for his drug screening,
Okay.
he has to get fingerprinted, and then I don't know if you're around on the 18th or not. Be a good time to swear him in and get the information to you.
What day of the week is that?
That's Friday.
Yeah, I should be. Okay.
So we'll take care of everything all at one time.
Okay.
Matt, do you have some kind of an internal policy on some of these motorcycles? I know since Saturday, there's been 4 different times that I think our town was one, and there's been 3 Jefferson County that were chasing motorcycles.
Yeah, we had a chase last week with a motorcycle.
Yeah, and I think he kind of gave it up because a few minutes later the vehicle came back. But
Yeah.
what do you, because I know that can get pretty unsafe. Do you,
We have a restrictive policy in high-speed pursuits. The officers know that I'm not a big fan of high-speed pursuits, especially when we're running a pickup truck is what we're running. So the sergeant who chased him on the motorcycle was coached a little bit, and told I want those things terminated earlier. So I can't speak for the sheriff's department on theirs.
yeah, because boy, they're singing when they go by.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which is not.
Did you see the motorcycle?
Yeah, it was orange. I think it was an orange streak.
That's not the first time we've chased an individual.
Wow. Well, I respect your policy, Matt, and I'm glad that you were able to coach these young officers through that. Good question, Dave. Seemed like it was kind of a hairy month for the police department.
I'm busy.
We appreciate your service. Joint Rock Lake Committee report. Nobody's here, but Sarah and I and Patricia participated in advertising for new Clean Boats, Clean Waters staff, and we did end up hiring a young gentleman who will start once school is complete, and we have 2 returning people for Clean Boats, and we're happy about that. And Matt's feedback to me on that was he likes to have them around, and so again, we'll participate again this year in this Clean Boats, Clean Waters program, along with the city. We are the fiduciary agent there. I guess the only other thing that I can say about the Joint Rock Lake Committee is we did meet about the pier ordinance. We are continuing to work on the pier ordinance and nearing completion on that. So we should have something to present to the board soon. Item C, Lee, the Planning Commission report.
Yes, we met last Tuesday, May 1st. Right now, we didn't have any swearing in of appointees or nominations or,
Oh, I thought you did.
no, we didn't have any, there was no one present to necessarily do that, so we didn't.
Better you or me.
Yeah, so we just tabled that, and
Oh,
Steve said it's fine. He's been on committees that it's been months before they're sworn in, and just kind of keep going in the status quo, so, just
you need
FYI.
that in your minutes.
And then we had a discussion decision on the application for a variance by Kurt and Kathy Liebenow for N6985 Lakeview Road. That's agenda item 8A, and that passed 5-0, or approved. And then we had 3 other items that were tabled because there was no representation there for those. And these are items that have been before us before, so different kind of format. That was really it.
Okay. So, sorry, we'll get you sworn in next month, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, before we go to item 7, a period of public comment and questions, Sarah has a budget amendment that she needs to cover with us.
Yeah, so on the disbursement sheet, you see, we got the bill from the city for the fire contract, and it was $13,364 more than than we anticipated it being at budget time.
So, I will read it. A budget resolution, the Town of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin. A resolution changing the 2018 budget of the Town of Lake Mills, Wisconsin, adopted by 2/3 majority of the entire membership of the Town Board. Be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lake Mills as follows, that the sum of $13,364 is hereby transferred to the general fund to the public safety account. Adopted and approved May 8th. I just get beeped off the stage?
I don't know what that was.
That's good. I would motion to adopt this budget resolution.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I guess, and I did see that on there, and I was just kind of curious, is that for the quarter? Or is that for
quarters,
the
because we
Two
just got it
quarters.
and we've missed
two?
two,
Okay.
so I just caught it up.
Is that gonna be the total? Is there gonna be more for the last
There will
quarter?
be one in August and one in November.
But the 13,000, is that
Oh, that's total.
total?
Total.
Total, yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah. Surprise,
Okay.
surprise. The Cambridge Fire Commission also met too.
All right, and so,
And we have, we're not through all the committee reports. yet.
no, go ahead.
Oh, Cambridge Fire Commission, nurse met, March 28th. Actually, no, it was April 26th, I'm sorry. We are still battling with the schedules. We did hire 2 more full-time, part-time people. The schedule is out and published for May through June. And so we have all of our time slots covered. This draft is done through the end of the year. It's not approved or published, but the draft is done. And that is absolutely a nightmare to do those schedules. Financially, what we're going to do is we raise the run call money from $750 to $950 for residents. $860 was the current one for non-resident. We raised that to $1,000. So we are going to use that money to help offset the cost for the additional 2 employees we hired. The run call money sounds like a lot of money, but generally you only collect about 50% of that money anyway. So it comes down to what the insurance does. The other thing we're looking into is because we do have 2 ambulances over there that one would be, kept into service and to be able to utilize our employees and volunteers is getting into the scheduling of transports. Talking with a couple different hospitals and nursing homes, most of their transports are done during the day, which is busy, so they're looking at, they would like to maybe possibly do some of those things in the evenings and nights, which is much easier to get volunteers at night. So a couple of things we kind of kicked around on that. Financially, the general checking, $90,537. Building reserve, $51,548. Fire department equipment reserve, $46,313. The EMS reserve, $25,266. So financially, not doing great, but hanging on. Still kicking around a little bit, looking at the future. There is a developer that is looking at purchasing, and he wants to make a little bit of a trade-off. He's thinking about if he can get the zoning he would like from the city of Cambridge, that he's thinking about donating 5 acres to the fire commission for a spot for the fire station. We have been talking back and forth on referendums and all that. We had our commissioner lawyer look into it, and because the fire station can be labeled as an engine house, and it has the sole purpose of keeping fire engines and ambulances in, that you do have a couple little loopholes. Villages and cities, they have the power just to go ahead and adopt it. Towns do not. But the towns do have the power to take out a state trust fund loan without having to run a referendum. So there is ways around it without having to get the money without having to have a referendum. Let's see. The only thing we do have to do, which if we decide to go ahead with this thing, even though there's a couple other loopholes for borrowing money, we do have to obtain permission from the electors to seek out and purchase land if you're going to purchase it, or accept the land if it's going to be donated, or to construct any type of building. So we do not have to have a referendum for the money, but we do have to have elector approval to do it. Which really becomes kind of a tough thing to do, because I think I mentioned last time, if you would fail to approve the building or any type of a loan, then you would not have the ownership of the trucks or the building, but you'd still be charged the same rate for your equalized value for the protection. So it really becomes, catch-22. But so anyway, headed in the right direction, but still a difficult task.
Do you have any participation on the part of the other towns?
All of the other towns that are there, and everybody gets an equal vote, no matter what your percentage is. And what puts us all in the same ballpark is everybody else deals with 1 or 2 other fire and EMS services. So the real big problem comes in is when Lake Mills, when they expanded, that cost us money here. And if Cambridge expands, it's going to cost us money. But then at the same time, Jefferson is talking about it, Ford is talking about it, so those other villages and towns that are involved with those guys are getting hit 3 ways. We get hit 2 ways because it's kind of Cambridge and Lake Mills. But so yeah, it's the village of Cambridge, the village of Rockdale, the town of Christiana, the town of Lake Mills, and town of Oakland. Which town of Oakland is the largest? Town of Oakland is 40%. So and they also have a pretty sizable percentage in Jefferson and
Thank you for your service on the Fire Commission in Cambridge, Dave.
you bet.
With Kenseth running racing again, you guys gonna get any money?
I don't know, it'd be nice.
With the dealer,
One of those fire engines in the
And what he always did was,
number on the side.
he always donated the same amount of money as his car number. So when he went from 17 to 20, that was beautiful. So I hope he gets like 50.
I guess we'll see how this plays out, huh?
Yeah.
You feel pretty strongly that if a town makes an investment in a local fire department, that we should have some ownership in that,
We
correct?
do have ownership. The town of Lake Mills has ownership in 2 ambulances and, let's see, there's, I think 4 fire trucks, a brush truck, a UTV, so we own a percentage of that.
Unlike the way we work with the city of Lake Mills.
Correct. Before the new fire station in Lake Mills was built, the towns that are under the protection of the Lake Mills Fire Department, we did not have ownership in the building, but we had the ownership in the equipment in the building, and all of the town's names were on the side of that truck. And then once the new fire station was built,
That changed.
That changed.
Okay,
So we have nothing,
a contract. That's a moving target.
right? Yeah.
Seems to not be able to be budgeted for, correct?
Not the last couple of years, no.
Okay,
Just keeps going up.
just some reality there.
But anyway,
Consistently
just,
going up anyway.
yeah, I know, it's horrible. And then the other thing is, I guess one of the things where the whole referendum thing comes in, and when you put it all in a nutshell, that if a building goes, we can legally raise the tax levy to cover that cost, is what it really comes down to.
And they would rely on the town to do some to do some
yeah.
borrowing for them?
Yeah, and I think, reading between the lines with the Cambridge Foundation, they had over $500,000 that they donated to a bunch of entities. They are very, very strong supporters of the emergency services. And I think they were kind of sending us a little bit of a signal. We usually always get money from the foundation, but I think the foundation was looking for the towns to step up to see what they're willing to support, and then I think that the foundation then will be heavy donators again. So I think that's, and you saw some of the letters.
Yes, I understand what's going on there. Okay,
That's a tough thing because there's 26 voting board members and there's 7 executive members that, you know,
of the foundation.
yes, of the foundation.
Yeah.
So
Just so the public understands that part of the fire district of the town of Lake Mills is in the Cambridge jurisdiction, and that's why we're discussing this. Okay, item D, other committee reports, Public Works Board. This is the time of the year when we are taking new appointments, and the Public Works Board is a City of Lake Mills board, and we have been ably served, I believe, for the last 6 years by John Wright, who lives on Sandy Beach Road. John's been a faithful member of that committee. He has decided that he would like to step down, so I am seeking someone who is interested in working on the Public Works Board of the City of Lake Mills. You are a participant in the committee, but you have voting access only for situations that directly affect the town. And so I think it's an interesting crossover board. I would like to solicit volunteers for this job. If anyone is interested in it, they can let us know and we'll go forward from there. Can pursue that committee by looking at the committee schedule online. I do know that John said they were having a tour, I believe, this evening of their upcoming public works projects, and that committee member is issued a laptop with which to communicate with the city. So if there's anyone in the audience that would like to volunteer to serve on the Public Works Board, please come forward. Item 7, a period of public comment and questions for anything that is not on the agenda. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we'll move right on to review of applications. Item 8. A, the discussion and decision on an application for a variance for Kurt and Kathy Liebenau for N6985 Lakeview Road. And Kurt, I know you're here and you're contractor. Would you give us a little background and we'll go from there.
My wife and I purchased the home last fall. The intention is to make it a retirement home for us. It's currently 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We're looking at making it a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. In the process, discovered the existing home is over current setback lines, so the house itself is non-compliant. So we tried to work the design as well as possible to respect that without furthering that. So the only place that, well, and then because we're putting more than 50%, adding more than 50% of square footage on a non-compliant building, we have to ask for the variance for that reason. But then on the front side toward the road, we'd like to do a nicer entry to the house. Right now it's kind of this little door in the corner. And our proposal is not to bring it out any further than the existing house. So it wouldn't make it any worse than the current condition, I guess would be the way to put it. The other pieces are within the setbacks. I talked with a couple of the neighbors, showed them the plans, and they were like, oh, that looks good.
You guys have any questions for Kurt?
On this here where you're gonna put the new on, is that addition to all this, or this goes away and this is just for the, I think I'm looking at that,
That's
right?
okay. This is an existing bedroom.
Yep,
And that doesn't change.
okay,
But we would bring, this would be an overhang here, and then the actual exterior wall is right there.
right there, okay. All right.
It's nice to enter the house when it's raining. with
Sure.
rain on, so,
You know, dig in your pocket for the keys, right?
yeah.
All right, I would make a motion to approve the application for a variance by Kurt and Kathy Liebenau.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion?
I guess the only other question I have is, as far as a height wise, you're gonna be pretty much the same height as.
Yeah, it's a one-story, it goes up 3-4 feet or something, just because of, you know,
Yeah.
age, but that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions for Kurt or his contractor? What is the maximum height of the house?
35 feet, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, 35 feet is our fire protection level. That's why we're moving in on that. Is there any other discussion on the application? No. Hearing none. All in favor of approving the application as filed, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, the same sign. From here, Kurt, you will go to the zoning office with the signed documents that Sarah will
I'll forward them to them.
forward to them.
Okay.
And then you'll get on their schedule. You'll go before the zoning board of adjustment. A little more paperwork before you get going.
So it goes.
All right, we appreciate your coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I ask, does that get over to them like tomorrow by the end of the week?
By the end of tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
But although we don't have a decision sheet from them, so they will be sending that to us to sign as well, so
Okay,
I don't know when she will get that part to me.
okay.
Let me think. I don't really know what their meeting schedule is. You might check on that and we'll try to aid and abet you in this process, okay? Should be no problem, you know. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks for attending.
Good luck.
Yeah, we look forward to having you in our neighborhood. The name is very familiar.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Kurt. All right, skipping through the other tabled items to item E, discussion and decision on a request for a special event for the Rock Lake Regatta on May 20th, 2018.
John is available by phone for any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions. It's a week early, isn't it?
I think this is what it used to be. Wasn't it only Memorial Day once?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's too
This is
confusing.
the 15th annual, by the way.
All right.
Yeah, I guess we've really never had any issues,
No,
right?
no. I will make a motion to approve a special request for the Rock Lake Regatta on May 20th.
Is it the 18th and
18th through
the
20th.
20th?
Oh,
It's a weekend.
okay.
Second.
And now, discussion. Hearing none. All in favor of approving the regatta, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, same sign.
That was May 20th last year.
It's May 18th through the 20th. It's 12.
Right, it was May 20th last year. So it's same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
20th through the
Do I get to keep
21st.
this?
You can.
Yeah.
Okay, item F, discussion and decision on a request for a special event for the Ragnar Relay Chicago on May 19th,
Here's
2018.
your hard copies of that.
Nothing going on that weekend.
No.
This is the same one that I guess I already had that.
Yeah, Dave's got that one, but you can give
This-
that one to Matt.
This is the van relay that's comes here through Cambridge, stops at the high school, moves on, brings a lot of people to
It's a
town.
busy, busy day.
They are also available by phone. Did I give you the map? No, I didn't.
No, you got
Sorry.
their
It
insurance.
comes, sorry, it comes straight down the trail to the high school, back on the trail.
Oh, good, all right. Super.
Yeah, but they'll still have their van traffic
Yep.
going down Finch Brothers and Highway S.
Yep.
I will make a motion to approve a request for a special event by Ragnar Relay Chicago.
On 5/19, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the Ragnar Relay on May 19th, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, same sign. Item G, discussion and decision on an operator's license for Kelly S. Core for Mo's Place. Special case, Sarah, why don't you zip us through this?
Well, we got an email asking if they could do a temporary, but at this point, it would just be a regular, what would you call it?
It's just a regular operator's license.
Yeah, but it would only be for a couple of months, because,
Okay.
or a month, because we renew everything on
Right.
July 1st. But, there's some health issues over there that
Yeah.
they need some extra staff, so.
Matt?
Matt ran it. I was just gonna say that, sorry.
Everything's fine.
All right, I would make a motion to grant an operator's license for Kelly S. Core for Mo's Place.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Guess we'll look at it again in June and July.
Yeah.
All in favor of approving the operator's license, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and any opposed? Same
Can
sign.
I ask, so technically in our ordinance, we can prorate that fee based on the number of days or weeks, I forget how it's worded, I think it's days. But she gave me the whole amount, so should I just, if she's gonna renew in June, just tell her that it's prorated
Yes,
for
do
that?
that.
Or apply to that? Okay, thank you.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think so.
Yes, that way we aren't issuing checks back and forth.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah, for being on that. Item 9, old business. A discussion and decision on raising ordinance and abandoned vehicles.
I haven't seen anything from Mr. Leverton.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from Leverton, and so we'll just have to move this along.
On the abandoned vehicles, is a new one?
Yeah,
Right.
that was. Did you guys work on that?
No.
Oh, this is something I was working on with Matt. We're looking at vehicles that were abandoned, and our ordinance is pretty short on this. So he was having trouble with enforcement. So I simply plagiarized and made a new ordinance with Lee's review. And so, seeing nothing, we'll just have to wait.
Well, so far here, we've only mentioned that Lee was working on it,
Yeah.
so
Right,
we
yeah.
haven't, it hasn't come here yet.
So is that a car parked alongside the road? Man,
Yeah, that's
what is
part of it, but the main part of it is like vehicles parked in people's, not driveways, but auto driveways, like junk vehicles.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're not registered, they've been sitting there for over
Yeah.
10 days, no use. I believe that's what the ordinance reads, or
Okay.
I should say, the new one's proposed.
That's
No,
a
like
good one.
registration stickers.
So like junk vehicles,
Junk
Yeah.
cars.
not currently kept active.
Clean them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It deals with quite a
Our
few
ordinance
things.
is ancient and needed an overhaul. So you guys will see that once it comes through.
Right, now, are we looking at weight limits?
I printed that out.
Another whole subject, weight limits and parking restrictions and speeds. We have to update some other things.
I printed out the current ones. I was wondering if somebody wants to tackle these with, adding the numbers and doing all of the amending. Is that what we're doing here, amending things, or are we just adding to it? And what do we need done?
Well,
So what do you want to do with the weight limits? Because the weight limits is pretty much the.
we gotta add these roads. We gotta add these
Oh.
roads.
Right, okay, gotcha.
We got roads to add,
All right.
which is, we should look at the fees.
So
And
you
if we're
want to
gonna,
change from Class B to an actual tonnage.
Okay.
If you go north into Waterloo, and I try to get a hold of their clerk
this one is yours.
to get an example,
This one is yours.
Oh, it's super.
so you want to post a ton.
Did you say town of Waterloo?
Yeah, the town of
Town of
Waterloo.
Waterloo, I
is-
try to get a hold of their clerk to get their ordinance, because they actually have a tonnage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking with the truck enforcement officers that work in this area, because we're Class B, we always have that exception if they're delivering or picking up.
Oh,
There's nothing we can do, but if you have a ton weight limit specific, like they do, I believe theirs is 10 tons.
10 ton, yeah.
Under town, that does apply, then there is no exception. That's why we had a problem on Newville Road, that's why they went south instead of north. in Waterloo.
And that's year round, that's not just.
That's
to-
correct.
Yeah.
Well, there's an exception, obviously, that they put in there, I would assume, for farm equipment, which you're gonna have to.
Right,
but-
yeah.
But I gotta get the copy of that ordinance, I made a phone call to her, and then she called me back, we're playing phone tag.
So it's not like burning down the house, but it's something we need to do in our housekeeping.
Right, yeah, because then the other thing is when you have a vehicle that has a fixed weight, this does not cover any of that. A pickup truck with a trailer and a skid loader. Other than how much fuel they have in the tank, it's kind of is what it is. But now a truck and a trailer and an excavator, if it's over that, 70,
Okay,
60%.
This is your baby. You're working on this. We gotta add these roads, remember?
Yep,
We gotta make some changes, and I would highly suggest we look at the fees. If we're gonna update it, let's update it. and-
yep.
Other than that, I think it's really in very good shape. We need to cover our butts here on this
you
one.
can make some chicken scratch on there. I can put it in the computer if that helps.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. And then the other ordinance housekeeping thing that we need to look at is the driving regulations. Our new road, Korth Lane, has a 35 mile an hour speed limit in our ordinance, and I would like to lower that to 25. This was adopted many moons ago. I went through the list of roads, and here I find on page 4, Body Lane is still listed, and we'll need to get that out of here.
Do we have Saddle Lane on there? I don't see it, but
No, but we better, no, so Saddle. And I'll work on this one, okay?
yeah, I do have a list of the town roads. You probably have it too, right?
Oh, sure.
So we could just compare.
Here's Saddle Lane. I'll just make a circle around it, and I'll go over this.
Oh, there it is, okay.
I'll go over this, and then we can bring these all back to us, you know, for housekeeping. Summer housekeeping, we're cleaning.
Okay.
Okay, good. Item B, discussion and decision on ditch mowing. Look who's in the audience tonight. Mr. Wolf, Sand and Gravel, Glenn
We
Wolf.
are glad you came,
Always glad to have you.
rather than using the scissors.
Glenn has come before us with a proposal. You want to talk to us a little bit about what you're going to do for us?
Well, you were talking about a more than a 1 year proposal, and my wife sent you for 2 years now.
Oh, okay, good. So I have in front of me, Wolf Sand and Gravel bid, roadside mowing and brushing bid and proposal for 2018 and 19 cuttings with your Ford tractor, $3,000 per cutting, $6,000 total for spring and fall mowing. And I like to have a revolving contract, so getting 2 years out of him is better than getting nothing out of him. So I think this is a reasonable charge. I would motion to approve the 2-year contract for Wolf Sand and Gravel.
Second it.
Is there any discussion?
I guess one question I have, Glenn, is if you have to do something outside of that spring and fall, I'm assuming it'd be a time and materials thing?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Just negotiable, whatever you guys think, you know.
Okay.
Before we get too far, one thing is, what do you think about a date for start mowing?
Generally, our practice has always been right around Memorial Day and Labor Day. I know sometimes the weeds kind of bolt, you know, and you'd like to do it, you know, in August, but then if you get too much regrowth,
Yeah.
so I guess customarily, that's kind of what we did. Again, now, this year possibly, maybe the grass is not going to be quite so big come Memorial Day.
Like this year, you got a lot of heat and moisture,
It can just,
I could maybe move up a week or so, you know.
yeah, because I know that takes, you know, extra horsepower and time, and you don't do quite as good a job. I guess it'd be something that we could talk about
Yeah,
probably.
you know, I rely on you as our contractor to make the best decisions for us.
Because we're,
Like in the fall, if it's dry or something, sometimes I wait a little longer in case it gets wet and nothing grows.
Yeah,
right, yeah, and the same thing, if you cut too early in the spring, then you get too much quick regrowth,
It
so,
almost ends up being it could be a 3 mowing thing.
yeah.
You
So,
guys gotta watch it and
Yeah.
yep, and you too, you know, you work for other townships, so you kind of keep an eye on it, so we can kind of talk about it, but that's generally what we do.
always negotiable, you know, on whatever you decide as far as timing goes and whatever your best judgment is there. I appreciate you putting the time in to do a 2-year contract.
Yes, it is speedy. What, the other roadside that you mow, does our schedule conflict with that schedule, or is?
well, right now, I don't have Waterloo's. Theirs are tomorrow night, so
Oh, okay.
I was just kind of wondering.
Right, yeah, how to schedule
They
it.
would ask me the same week, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, we rely on you to be the contractor and take care of the business, all
If
right?
it gets grow tall and starts to lean into the roadway, we gotta go.
We'll work it out. We have so far. Thank you for coming. I know it's late, but you know, we had to get the cows milked. All right.
What's your feeling about the brushing of it? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
You know?
You guys aware of the brushing that he started?
I did not go out and look.
He did some brushing around the Airport Road Bridge as it goes up over to Waterloo, over 94, and he did Rock Lake Road.
On Airport Road, Waterloo paid for part of it, where the new blacktop starts there. Waterloo paid for the part from there to the bridge. And
Okay.
he took the part the other way. I don't know how else to divide it. Nobody really seems to know where the line is there.
Yeah.
Just that it's here someplace.
Well, as long as we cooperate, you know, we've always felt that we had that bridge pretty well cleaned out, the guardrails there, and we keep it cleaned out.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could spray that there, because it's all behind that guardrail. You gotta get a
Yeah.
special mower to get in there, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a case where we'd really like to see that spray used. Good.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you much.
Call me if you need to, okay?
So,
You want this information about the spray, you can have this here. if you want.
Okay, leave it here for me.
All right,
Sure.
talk to him about it.
Oh, did we approve it? All right. All in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, same side. Details, details, details. Thank you, Glenn. Look forward to working with you another year.
Thank you much. We'll see you in a month or so.
Okay, thanks.
you talked to the park mower?
No,
Do we need to, or is it just? gonna
usually it
start
just
up again?
starts up.
Okay.
You
Okay.
think we need to?
I don't,
Remind me next week.
No.
I'm gonna put it on my list.
I haven't seen them out there yet, but
Yeah, all right. Okay, item C is discussion and decision on the Britsky Bridge cleanup.
I found some more stuff in my email for tonight on that. This stuff that you sent me, I did not send back, I didn't send out, so if you want to summarize this, maybe.
Okay, I sent out a letter asking the contractors who had bid previously back in 18, or back in, I want to say
It's on here.
15.
15, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, 15. The contractors that had previously bid the removal of the rocks on Britsky Road. And just to sum things up, our attorney has said we need to do the work. We'll need to work with the drainage board, make sure they're happy, but we need to go forward and do this. So, tonight we have basically two bids, correct?
Yeah, that's all I have.
One from Valia Excavating and Septic for $3,340, and one from Jacob Brothers for $6,500. I spoke with Valia, I did not speak with Jacob. I also spoke with, who was the other guy that bid? He's out of Mayville, Wisconsin.
Are they confused here? They've got.
Wandra?
No, why can't I say it?
They've got, they think they're working with them?
Yeah, we'll have to straighten that out. Anyway, this is kind of a no-brainer. I would motion that we would accept the bid from, Krause, from Valia. Did you get anything from him? No.
Well, that was $6,500 too.
When were you looking for, oh, by May 7th?
Yeah,
Well, I haven't looked in the mailbox today.
well, maybe you better do that before we go too far here. Back to the mailbox. In the meantime,
Yeah, can you do something?
can we talk about a discussion and decision on the sand sweeping? So today they swept the sand.
Oh, is that what the,
On Short Hills Road, yeah.
We swept Sherwood Hills Road and the auxiliary streets. I gave them a list of Gallup, Nipert, Oasis,
and that was Scott's?
yes, Sherwood Meadows, Sherwood Hills,
Yeah.
all the auxiliary roads, all of Elm Point, Helena, and they were perfectly happy to do all of that
Okay.
at no charge to us,
Even the ones that they didn't,
even the ones that they didn't seal coat.
wow.
They were very generous. And,
They're still working on it though, right? Or-
yes, I think it's not complete
I haven't
totally.
seen the trucks run back and forth.
I'm pretty sure that what you see on your road is already
Well, the one
swept.
side looks very nice, yeah, so I
Okay.
didn't know if they maybe not.
So we have to
came
keep an
back
eye
in.
on it, you know, the next day or two. And if we're not happy, then we'll have to
Are
make some
they-
determinations.
Getting off the pavement just a little bit, and sucking up some of that.
I didn't see that they had gotten off the pavement, but anyone I talked to, I said, please get the rocks to the pavement.
Because I know there's some places it was really, really.
Really bad. So, could I ask for some help from you guys to observe that?
Sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
look at that?
Are they now going to warranty? Did they have an excuse of what was going on there? I mean, when I looked at it, I'm in a couple different spots. It seems like there's an awful lot of round stones, which, you know, when you use a chip, that's a fractured to make it a little flatter so the tires don't roll it out. I mean, that's what I saw. I don't know what you
Well,
guys
it is
see.
very key round gravel, and so I guess we'll have to talk with them if we're gonna do any more chip sealing. He thought that it was probably a combination of late in the year and the temperatures. But, you know, nobody really understood what went wrong. And from what I could garner from county highway people, things happen. And also from our engineer who made a trip down here, Corey was here to look at a couple of things with me, and Grossman was one of them. We also took a trip and looked at Conservation Road to look at the cold treatment. And Corey looked at Cedar Lane and the ditch there. We got out of the car and looked at Cedar Lane, and he said he thought that a lot of the oil that went with the seal coating was in good shape upon the road. So that was positive to me. I said we really aren't going to be able to tell how good a job the sweeping did or how we feel about the seal coating until we get the whole thing swept
So cleaned up.
and rained out, you know, to see exactly what's going on. So you guys help me be an eye in the sky. Let's confer sometime early next week about how we feel about it. I'm sure we're going to have telephone calls if somebody isn't happy, and then we'll have to work that out with Bob. So far, Bob's been golden.
Okay, good.
And I said to him,
It's a lot of money.
if we decide that we want to re-seal coat some of those roads, he is more than happy to follow through on that. I said the way people felt here last month, it seemed like that would be not such a good idea. So I suggested to him a bit of horse trading, and I said, well then how come maybe you should seal coat Conservation Road, because it's going to need a seal coat as a freebie for us.
Conservation Road.
How about London Road? That's older.
Well,
Older.
We just do conservation last year?
Yeah, those are.
we are in negotiations. Sorry.
That's a good thought, actually. I mean, you know,
Well, if you're going to get something for nothing, I want to get as much for nothing. I don't think I can get London Road out of it. Conservation, maybe. Conservation is the road we did with the cold mix
Oh,
that
yeah.
Scott did. So it's a little different treatment than the hot mix that you saw going down on Court Lane today. One of the things they suggest is every couple of years a follow-up after the cold mix with a seal coat. So
yeah. You'd be right.
it's an experiment. Okay? Keep me informed. We'll have a little email
I
chain
think
of,
Cedar Lane
Thanks.
is probably the worst, isn't it, as far as the bond?
and you know, looking at it after sweeping on it and looking at it on Sunday, I really do feel like the tar is there.
The
It's
tires
just
there. Stone didn't
Yeah,
stick.
there's
Gravel's all
Stockbridge
over.
has just a huge pile. There's a lot of stone at the end of that.
Well, let's keep an eye on it over the week and then
As
see
well
what
as some of
happens.
those Sunset Court and, you know,
Yes.
those roundabouts are.
I had a complaint from Jane Hans up on Sunset, and she said her road is sinking, and she literally had a huge bunch of stone that she was really perturbed about. She was gone the last 3 weeks of the winter, and I said that was the smartest
It's
thing
perfect.
she should have done.
Yeah.
Well, take a drive up there, you know, keep your eyes and ears open. And then we'll confer early next week, and if we have complaints, Sarah, we'll back it up, okay? I think it's kind of a positive situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Many people last month, I guess, decided that we had just dropped the ball on it, but, you know,
Well, a lot of contractors don't license their trucks until
yeah.
you know, later, and of course with the snow and all that stuff, it's just,
If you recall,
people
I
are laid off
believe,
yet
I
still.
believe that 3 weeks ago, we were expecting a snowstorm, so. All right, moving on to new
No,
business.
go back.
Go back, oh,
There was
sorry.
nothing in the mailbox, but that last contractor you mentioned was the most expensive last time around by
Yeah.
far.
Okay, so the motion is on the floor to accept the Valia excavating contract.
Seconded.
And is there any more discussion?
So they're gonna not necessarily remove, I thought they're just gonna kind of move them.
Move the stones to the bridge abutment.
Yeah.
This will have to be orchestrated with some inspection.
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
I'm
So
assuming
they
that
need to be there, this
At least
drainage board.
one of their
Yeah.
representatives need to be there.
So I will coordinate that when Valia gets going and,
Yeah, the last thing we wanna do is have to, them not be happy with it.
Yeah.
so a letter should probably be drafted.
6,000, you know?
Yeah.
And when you get your minutes up, Sarah, then I'll send the minutes of our meeting and a letter to the drainage board and we'll tell them
Okay.
who we decided to go with and how it's gonna play out.
Yeah. I think that's a lot cheaper, because didn't they want like around 10,000 or something?
Yeah, well, they said up to 15 at one point.
Maybe.
And I did not put any parameters on this for him. I said, you get him up on the bridge abutment and make the drainage board happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I wanna see how he gets in there and do it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to come see that.
Unless they chain him and drag him out with a hose sitting on the bridge, and
I kind of made that suggestion.
it's in a tough spot.
Item 10. Oh, new business. Discussion and decision on county road and bridge aids.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't have anything to apply for bridge aids with.
The only thing I was wondering, I know this is gonna be a stretch.
Go ahead.
I know they talk about culvert replacement, but they also, it's, you know, I guess bridge aid, as it, using it as a loose term. Do you think that we could apply for the stones removed underneath Britsky Bridge as bridge aid? Because it's a bottomless bridge.
Now you're thinking.
Well, I guess I can ask that question.
Yeah, I know it might be a little bit of a
Gotta be
stretch.
completed by May 31st.
Well, I'm thinking, because then what is it?
Yeah,
Then it would
it's
go
gonna be for the next year.
to, yeah, next year, yeah.
You are a crafty guy, Dave. Good job. All right, I'll ask. Nothing ventured, nothing
I'm
gained.
gonna say no.
What are we gonna, that one culvert on Hope Lake Road sits up, is that, we gonna do anything there? You talk
We're
about
not
grinding
gonna
it.
replace it. We were gonna talk about wedging it.
You're talking about the one that's got the big hump on it.
Right, yeah.
Or are you talking about the one that sunk down? There's two
Well,
on
there's,
Hope
yeah,
Lake.
I was thinking more of the one with
The
the, has
big
the hump up.
Yeah.
Well, we already collected bridge aid on that. So if we're gonna mill that off, that's gonna be our job.
I will check with Mid-States to see how much a grinder for a skid loader attachment would cost.
That'd be good. Do that.
Just so I don't have to hit the damn thing
Yeah,
anymore.
right. Follow up on that.
I will.
Follow up, and we can work that into our budget, you know, we're gonna be pinched here when it comes to highway aids. We just got a $10,000 snow bill. We'll talk about balancing that up next month, huh? What?
Are we gonna do the road, excuse me, county road aid match again or not?
I guess that's a discussion question.
The county hasn't bid on any projects here in years.
Yeah.
Well, we're using that all from Cory.
We're gonna use that pool. So it says the town has 37.89 miles. The municipality's amount of the petition is due by June 30th. The county share is the same, and that would be in our account for 2019. So I guess that, you know, you got some time to think about this, or you can decide on it tonight.
Well, if we're gonna participate, we gotta cut the check next month, so.
Yeah.
Right, which we normally always did,
We
which,
do.
and this is just thinking, wild thinking, you know, when you take a look at Carth, Park, the road there, we get $25,000 for trip with $25,000 matching funds. And if we already have $27,000 of stored money at the county, so that brings us up to what, Sarah, help me out here, $77,000? I mean, probably some change one way or the other. I know, Hope you had mentioned a couple different times about what was going on there, but we don't see any bids, we don't see any costs. And I know what our budget is, and when we did road tour and last month about not having any money to spend. And it makes me a little nervous on how much do we want to spend on that road? And I realize that the county's doing the work, which they're a non-taxing government.
Well, all of those weight tickets and all of those asphalt tickets will be coming to us.
That's what I was wondering.
All that stuff will be coming to us because I expressed that idea that we did not want to become
The cash cow.
a cash cow for them, but this was a partnership.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not questioning that. It's just that I want to make sure that, you know, because we really don't know what they're doing, and then where does our responsibility end? Does our responsibility end at the driveway at that last house?
Well, actually, you know, over the course of doing this whole thing, we discovered, Brian and I at the highway department, discovered there were 500 extra feet of Court Lane that was not documented. And so our property literally goes into the park.
Did they want to buy it?
No, they didn't want to buy it. But we go far past the gate into the park.
We do.
And that was amended, so we had to go back into the system and amend the lineage of the road. And so that will be reflected next year in our road aid. The other thing that's not reflected in the 37.89 miles are the roads that we added that Jason has, and we will not accept those until he has finished the improvements.
Right, yeah, which then
So
he
then
has
we're
to-
gonna have extra mileage.
Yeah, and
in the
he has
town.
to come in and dedicate it to
Yes,
us.
he has to dedicate that.
Okay, because I was just kind of concerned me when I saw, I have not been up there, but I see that they're working, you know, past, and I don't know where we started and where we stopped, because I know it used to be where the pavement ended is where we ended, and then Dave Clorth picked up after that, you know, because it was gravel into his yard, so. It's just because it's a cost share.
Well, we're gonna
you
sit
know.
down and we'll be going over all of those details and you'll be privy to that,
All
so.
right, good, because I've been being questioned, I'm sure, you know, you guys may have been too, but.
Do you think we gave away the farm?
Well, I don't know if that was the suggestion, it was, you know.
I'll tell you, it's the first road reconstruction I've ever had done by the 1st of June.
Yeah, right.
Good point.
But then again, I think that's probably due to few activities.
It certainly is, and it certainly is. And I'm telling you, there've been some days where things have been flying by the seat of their pants up there, so. Back to this, we need to decide, you want to stash $3,789 or do you want to hang on to it?
I think because they're gonna match the funds, we almost have to do it.
But are
mean,
we
as
gonna
we come-
see it again?
Or are we going to see it?
We've been matching for
Well-
years without any,
I got a real good
Place to
idea,
put it.
let's use this as a contribution to the road.
Well,
I don't know if we can use that already, because then if we already have 27,000 plus another 7,000, that
yeah, I think by the time we're
Almost
done, I think
30,000.
we were supposed to have $30,000, so.
so they may already be including this then.
I'm not sure, I guess.
Well,
we'll
you
have
would
to-
think they would have to start taking on bids sooner or
The
later.
department will match
They
these
used to
funds
be
in
very
2019.
competitive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's at your pleasure, you guys, and you certainly would not have to do it now. We could postpone until June and still have time to draft a check by the 30th, so.
Which is, I think those guys should do
Let's
it.
do it, yeah.
You get a matching fund.
So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go with the county road aid petition money where the township fronts $3,789 and then the county matches that. So we have a total improvement of $7,578.
Not until April of 19.
Uh,
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion? I think it's prudent. It's a good way to save some money, and we'll have to be using them for other things.
Well, you just gotta keep pushing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of approving the motion, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Item B, discussion and decision on the appointment of a deputy clerk. Sarah,
All right, well, here I have some information. I just have information for you tonight.
how
For
wonderful.
Some input. You can send one of these down to, I've got lots of copies. You can send it on the map.
This is a summary of the survey
Yeah.
done by the, I think it was done by the town of Farmington.
Farmington, yep.
Tammy in the town of Farmington.
Yep, so it says the ones in bold are the ones that responded this year. The others are from the last time she did the survey, which was in 2014. So a couple of things that I saw that caught my attention are that nobody has a deputy clerk, first of all, no one. But the range, now I know Dave, you had been kind of pushing me to come up with a number of what it would take to have somebody dedicated full-time or mostly full-time, focused only on being the town clerk. And so I wanted to point out, Town of Jefferson, appointed clerk, $31,059. I had 35 in my head, so that's pretty close. And I also wanted to point out, Town of Oakland, theirs is a clerk treasurer, and don't worry, Sharon, I'm not trying to push you out of here, I'm just giving an example, is $50,000.
Yeah.
And they're, definitely full-time. And that brought to mind another option of an administrator. That's another way that some towns are able to have somebody who's dedicated to it, instead of having a clerk who has trying to get an appointed or elected clerk who has all of the skills you might want. They do an administrator, sort of like a city would do. But.
Right, and I think in the town of Oakland, I think they do have somebody that helps. And then the other thing with town of Oakland being clerk treasurer, they are audited every year.
Right,
The
exactly.
fall.
Yep, there's
Fall.
definitely that fallback. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the rest of this is pretty consistent, I guess, as far as I can see. Interesting. So from that, the other thing that I've been thinking about is remembering back to when the first time I ever sat in one of those chairs was when my predecessor decided to resign, and I contacted her to find out what the job was. And from our conversations, she had the idea of a deputy clerk because she didn't have the same level of accounting knowledge that I do, and so the piece of the job that she thought would fall out easily at that time was accounting. And it didn't go anywhere, but the point is that it's come up before. And the reason that I came up with elections is just because to me that seems like the easiest piece to cut out. And so focusing on that, and there again, depending on who is elected at any given time, I suppose a deputy clerk could be in charge of whatever makes the most sense. That's kind of how we function, anyway. I've got some experiences that I've been able to lend and some that I don't have as much knowledge of. So what I did was pull up the calendar. This is from the Wisconsin Elections Commission's calendar of election events. So this is basically what this person would be responsible for keeping track of. And so I also summarized what, in my head, what it would be. I don't know if you noticed in the disbursements, we had a bill from the county for February and April elections, and the bills were $50 and $70. And I went back and looked at last year. You remember how I took the training and got trained on this to do it myself? Last year it was $1,100 for the same time period.
So you really
So
saved
we've
us a
saved
bundle.
$1,000 basically. So I'd want to keep that going. So this person would, I think, be needing to be trained
Trained.
on that. And that you can do then in there is poll book maintenance, election setups, voter records, and then reporting that happens after every election. Voter registration, training of themselves and the staff, absentee ballot requests by mail, in person, and indefinitely confined. Publications maybe, but that probably should stay in the clerk, and staff scheduling, and then election day, I suppose they could work too, but if they want to, I suppose they wouldn't want to do all of this stuff and then not work on election day too. So then I'm kind of stumped with, if it's an hourly position, I'm guessing, versus, or it only makes sense to either be per hour or per election, I think.
I was kind of thinking a little bit too, is one, if you did it by the hour, and if that came to more than $13,500 in a year, would be better off. If you were full-time, would you be able to handle the elections also? So are we better off to go that way than have a deputy
Well, I
clerk?
still keep coming back to the fact that this is an elected position, and that means you can get anybody in the town of Lake Mills.
In the town of Lake Mills,
Only.
correct. Yes.
And
yeah.
the only skill they have to have is being able to get themselves on the ballot.
That is true. That's very true. Never thought about that. Did
So
you
this
have
gives
to?
you-
She brought that to light.
So this kind of gives you the opportunity to decide what is it that you want this person to be able to do.
And then the other thing too, now a deputy clerk would not be a town board member.
No.
That deputy clerk would be under your.
The clerk,
Yeah,
technically,
yeah,
yes.
you'll be their
Yes.
boss.
Yeah,
And they could come from anywhere because they're a hired position.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an important distinction too, the elected versus appointed. I still feel like in a town this size, an elected is significant because if you have somebody who doesn't live here, they're just not going to care as much.
Yeah, you don't have a stake.
Exactly. But, so it's give and take. That means that the clerk works for the electors, not for the board. And this person works for the clerk, not for the board. So you still don't have somebody technically that maybe you look at that instead as the administrator. That would be a person instead that would maybe take on a lot of a different piece could be cut out, I suppose, if it was an administrator instead.
I think one of the things that I felt that came up in the last election was I don't always understand exactly how the absentee or the permanently disabled voter registration is handled. But I found that was a very time-consuming thing for our clerk. And also we had a phone call right at spring break time from someone who said, I want to vote by absentee ballot, and I had in my head that Sarah had left town on Wednesday, and this was Thursday, and I thought, okay, what can we do, Well, fortunately, the weather was too crappy for her to go where she wanted to go, so she was home so she could handle it. But how are you going to handle that if
'Cause
someone's out of
technically-
town?
Technically, only the clerk is supposed to handle ballots.
Yeah.
Unless you have a deputy, then they can.
So I like the team approach idea. I don't think we really need to make a decision on
No,
this tonight.
I don't either. I wanted some input. Hope and I did throw around some numbers when we were putting the agenda together. Thought that just based on the fact that we just raised the chief wages to $10 an hour, and a ditch mower used to be 12, that maybe 15 if it was an hourly position. I still think that it could be per election too, but then again, maybe the key is to find a person who's willing to be our election specialist and then figure that part out, or at least have some general idea, but maybe not put it in stone. I don't know. This is new territory for me.
Yeah. And then we talked about a job description too, you know? So, I don't know what you guys think. How you want to do this. You don't want to, you want to keep the status quo, right?
Well, I think that once you get a clerk treasurer separate, Sharon, not together, that fully understand the flow, I think it's really important that the retention be high. Because obviously, Sarah, how long did it take you to kind of really get it? 3 months, 6 months?
A year and a
I
half.
think it's a 2-year cycle.
I don't know. A year, a good year.
It takes a
good
bit
solid
of
It's a 2-year cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that.
But you can't control that though either, really, because it's an elected position. And-
Right, yeah. And, you know, when you get accustomed to somebody that always keeps all your paperwork in order, which thank you very, very much, you know, I think retention is a good thing.
I mean, I like the idea of an election specialist, but the question is, could the clerk then be the election specialist if needed, and just have like a pay type increase during those, like an hourly type, just a chunk that'd be, you know, above and beyond what would be the normal hours spent on that job. I know we talked about in the past, and it's not allowable, but like bonus type stuff, or not, I don't want to call it a bonus, but
You do have per diem or something.
like a per diem,
Stipend,
yeah.
Or they could be, I don't know if they could be paid just like any other election worker. I don't know.
Well, right, something like that, yeah. I like that idea.
Well,
Good. That's an interesting thought. I don't know.
yeah, I think that's a real good thought.
I like these meetings, some of these get paid $50 to attend the meeting. Is that what that means?
Yeah, well, yeah, because a lot of them, you know, their wages are really low.
Yeah,
But then they
yeah.
get their per diem, so
They're all in it for the
town of
sandwich.
Milford, you know, they're $1,800.
Yeah, I mean, that's
40,
sure.
you know. Well, I can make a killing on my per diems. and
Look at
stuff.
this. This one's 58,000 is the road annual full-time road person.
Right.
Maybe that's a whole crew. I don't know.
Well, the town of Exonia clerk / treasurer is 56, so.
She is a legend.
Town of Exonia clerk.
She's been around, she's been in several municipalities, and she does training for Jefferson County on elections, and she's good.
It's also a huge
She's been
population.
around a
I
long
realize
time.
that was
Yeah,
big.
much larger township than ours. I don't know what the population of Exonia is.
4,800
Oh,
it says.
that's what it is, huh? Those are the numbers right there. Look at that.
I didn't realize the town of Concord was that big.
I didn't either, yeah.
No, I didn't either. And I didn't realize Town of Waterloo was that small.
Yeah.
You go out on 18, west of or east of Jefferson.
So, food for thought.
Food for thought. Let's return this to the agenda next month for, you guys can sleep on it, okay? Item number 11, correspondence.
Not a whole lot. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, there is a Lake Lot 101 workshop hosted by the Rock Lake Improvement Association to assist lake property owners with a variety of topics, including land and bank erosion and native plant gardens. There's a speaker from UW Extension Lakes program, lots of shoreland issue information. It's going to be held at the American Legion at 129 South Main Street in Lake Mills. Please RSVP with Mike at nesemann@yahoo.com. The public notice of the Plan Commission of the City of Lake Mills on a request for zoning amendment from Gail Oglesby and Jacob Arndt on Linden Street. If you're interested in that. An Economic Development Summit coming in July in Green Bay. You may attend if you wish. And then a couple of our usual quarterly newsletters from the Rock River Reflections and the Baxter and Woodman Consulting Engineers. Oh, how silly of me. The Honorable Hope Oostdike received
They must not really know me.
a letter confirming funding for the local project on Rock Lake Road from the 2018-2019 Town Road Improvement Discretion Program, otherwise known as TRID. This program assists local units of government in improving deteriorating county highways, town roads, and municipal streets under the authority of the local unit of government by paying up to 50% of the total eligible project costs, with the balance matched by the local unit of government. And the total project cost of the project is estimated at $385,000. And WISDOT will reimburse the town of Lake Mills up to 50% of the project's total cost to a limit of $191,996.74. We will soon receive an official signed agreement. Okay.
Which in short means that we received the TRID grant. And we have been granted this in the 2018-19 biennium. And I believe that we have until 2022 to complete the grant work. So that goes into our rotating file of road work. I did speak with the county a little bit about the idea of is the bridge work on 94 really scheduled for 19? No one seems to really know. So,
So is this for the road south or both sides of the bridge?
both sides of the road. If you recall, the entire length of Rock Lake Road, which I don't have the figure right now, in the town of Lake Mills, I tried to partner with the town of Waterloo to do the rest of it, and they wouldn't go on board, so.
Okay.
So it's both the approach and the
The lamb chop and
onto Waterloo, the pork chop, yeah.
pork chop.
The pork chop, lamb chop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
What is the length?
And then you would come back to the intersection of B,
Yep,
and then we would get rid of that Y and make it a T.
yeah.
1.15 miles. So that's, how long is London Road in comparison?
2.7.
2.7.
So,
And what did we do on Newville? That was 1.7, is that what that one was?
Newville is 1.46.
1.46.
So, in the big picture of things, that's going to be a real big help for us. That's going to be a busier intersection, especially with that condo unit going in there. We do have the benefit of a lot of the engineering that has already been done by Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson for the state, for the bridge. But I'm not so sure where that's all going.
We should take a look at, in a bridge aid, that culvert that is right by Beatrice's driveway there, White's.
Oh,
Because that would be,
Can you speak in geography instead of
That-
rural township terminology, please?
that would be on Rock Lake Road. It'd be right across from the brand new house that's up on the hill towards the interstate. I don't know what the
Fire number
number is.
but we can talk about that
Yeah, I mean, because,
as a prep thing. That would be a thing.
see, you're just as bad as I am.
Before or after the, where are you talking about?
This would be after the freeway.
On the other side of the
It's gonna be
freeway.
the first curve that you go
Okay, gotcha.
past North Shore Road.
All right.
And it has been kind of a issue
Yeah.
the last couple of years
Yeah.
with it, settling and.
Okay, that's a good thing to think about. I suppose we should track all the culverts on that road.
Yeah.
First things first,
Look at 'em.
try to find out if the state is actually looking at it for 19. Because part of the rationale was that if they're gonna have the bridge closed, the road is gonna be closed, that we would do that. And we
Yeah.
have to be flexible in our transportation program to,
Otherwise, there's a ton of Waterloo traffic that goes
yeah,
up
it's a
that
busy road. And I think
Yeah.
that T is gonna be a real improvement.
Oh, that would be awesome, actually.
Okay, so that changes everything. We just have to kind of bounce a little bouncing ball.
I think it's
So
dangerous.
once again, I somehow deleted expense sheets. Apparently, I don't want to reimburse anybody anymore.
Try to turn left.
Does anybody
Yeah,
have it?
yeah, it's,
No one's listening to you.
I'll put it, I'll make sure it's on there next time.
All right, item 12, meeting schedule. June 5th, Planning Commission at 8. June 5th, Joint Rock Lake Committee at 6. June 12th, Town Board meeting, 8 p.m.
I forgot to add open book, May
Yeah.
21st, 4 to 6.
Open
And
book.
then board of review is June 4th, 6 to 8.
6, 4,
Okay.
E-O-R,
When is open book?
May 21st,
21st. Okay.
And the hours?
4 to 6.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Is there a motion to adjourn?
4 to 6. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.